Hi, this is Laura Gurley, and this is my final synthesis project for EDEL3351. This semester, we learned the different aspects and components to teaching students how to read. In this video, I will be summarizing and synthesizing what I have learned. This is my graphic organizer with all of the terms I will be talking about. I will start by discussing balanced literacy. This is a tool that teaches reading. It encompasses all of the different types of literacy instruction that we have learned, which include interactive read-alouds, shared reading, guided reading, and independent reading. First, I will discuss what an interactive read-aloud details. During this type of literacy instruction, the teacher scaffolds the students as he or she reads. The teacher reads the story to the students while pausing to ask questions about making predictions, inferences, and connections. In one of my previous classes, we learned how to successfully implement an interactive read-aloud. This type of reading should include an introduction, questions throughout the reading, and a discussion after reading the text. During this discussion following the story, you can help teach students different comprehension skills. A guided reading lesson can be focused on fluency, comprehension, or vocabulary. All semester, we did guided readings with our case study students. These lessons included a book introduction where you made connections to the student's life and gave the student a purpose for reading. Next, my student would read the story to me, and I would ask her questions at certain points and guide her on decoding new words. After the reading, we would discuss the story, then make a main teaching point which taught skills in comprehension, fluency, or vocabulary. And lastly, we would do a quick word work activity where we teach different phonics skills. Next, I'm going to discuss independent reading. This happens when students read by themselves and it can be done silently, or while reading out loud to themselves, or through the use of audio tapes where the reader follows along in a story as they listen. When selecting books for independent reading, many students will need assistance choosing a book at their appropriate reading level. It's important the story isn't so difficult that it discourages the emergent reader from trying. The last type of reading instruction is shared reading. In this type of reading, the students have the opportunity to join in and share the reading responsibility while being guided by the teacher. This is different from the other types of reading because not only one person has the responsibility of reading. The task is instead shared by the group. Shared reading can teach many different skills, but is especially useful for teaching fluency. This is because the student is able to hear the teacher read and join in, giving them a correct example of what fluent reading in that specific genre sounds like. The big five of reading includes comprehension, fluency, vocabulary, phonemic awareness, and phonics. These 5 components are crucial to successful reading instruction. Teaching students these factors will help them become successful students. Teaching students these factors will help them become successful independent readers. All 5 of these categories can be taught through the different types of reading which we just discussed. Phonological awareness and phonemic awareness are both connected because they focus on the oral sounds of language. Phonological awareness refers to the awareness of the sound structures in oral language and the ability to manipulate those sounds. It is a huge predictor of future reading success. Phonemic awareness is very similar, but it comes later. It includes being able to recognize individual sounds in words, regardless of how many letters make up that single sound. Next is phonics. Phonics is similar to phonemic and phonological awareness, but it involves actually looking at letters. This is the study of phonemes and the letter symbols used to represent specific sounds in reading and writing. Students use these skills to decode unfamiliar words in reading. For example, we taught our case study students specific phonics skills during word work activities. A few skills I focused on with my student included rhyming, isolating consonant blends, segmenting syllables, and blending phonemes. Comprehension in reading includes 3 types of strategies. These are thinking within the text, thinking beyond the text, thinking within the text, thinking beyond the text, and thinking about the text. Thinking within the text refers to searching for and using information from the text, monitoring and self-correcting, solving words, maintaining fluency, and summarizing text. These skills help readers gain a literal understanding of the text. Thinking beyond refers to inferring, making connections, synthesizing, and predicting while you are reading. Lastly, thinking about the text occurs when readers critique and analyze the text. There are many factors that may affect comprehension. Some reader-related factors include background knowledge, past experience, level of fluency, comprehension strategies and skills, and their motivation. Some text factors include the genre, text structures, and text features. While reading with my case study student, I always try to include a comprehension strategy in my lesson. For example, when we read a story about a girl being a drama queen, I helped my student make connections to the story. We talked about a time she acted similar to the girl from the story and the causes for these behaviors. Next is vocabulary. One way to teach vocabulary is through interactive read-alouds. A teacher can stop on a difficult word she knows many of her students will not understand or recognize. When teaching vocabulary, it's important to show students how to use context clues, such as illustrations and other words on the page, to help them decode meanings for new vocabulary words. The last category of the Big Five is fluency. Fluent readers are able to read with appropriate speed, accuracy, and expression. They know when to pause and how to change the tone of their voice according to the punctuation in a sentence. This can be taught through guided reading or shared reading, and strengthened during independent reading. By learning how to sound out individual letters, sounds, and words, my case study student became a much more fluent reader. To practice fluency, I had my student read a specific portion of a story a few times through. The first time she had trouble with a few words and stumbled on a few punctuation marks. After discussing her difficulties and reading a couple more times, she was able to read the text with fluency. Together, all of these aspects make up successful reading. This concludes my final synthesis project.